In this city, a single bite of street food doesn't just feed you. It bridges 2 continents, 3 empires, and 2,000 years of history. Imagine standing on a cobblestone street as the sun just begins to rise over the Bosphorus Strait. The air is cool and salty, carrying the mist from the water, but underneath that fresh sea breeze, there is a warmer, more inviting scent drifting toward you. It is the smell of toasted sesame seeds, wood charcoal, and roasting meat. You hear the distant cry of seagulls circling the ferry boats, the rhythmic chopping of a knife against a wooden board, and the clinking of small glass spoons stirring sugar into hot tea. This is not a restaurant. There are no white tablecloths or printed menus here. This is the living, breathing theater of the street. In Istanbul, food is the heartbeat of the city. It is a constant rhythm that pulses from the narrow alleys of the old city to the bustling squares of the modern district. Every corner offers a different story, a different flavor, and a different piece of history. To walk these streets is to walk through a kitchen that has been simmering for thousands of years, where empires have risen and fallen, but the recipes have remained. You are about to step into a world where eating is a communal ritual, and every bite tells you exactly where you are. Welcome to Culture Journey. Today we are traveling to one of the most mesmerizing cities on the planet, Istanbul, Turkey. Geographically, this city is a marvel. It is the only metropolis in the world that straddles 2 continents, physically connecting Europe and Asia. But the true bridge between these worlds isn't made of steel or stone. It is made of flavor. For centuries, Istanbul was the capital of 3 great empires: Romans, Byzantine, and Ottoman. Traders from the Silk Road brought spices from the east, merchants from the Mediterranean brought olive oil and fresh produce, and nomads from the steppes brought techniques for roasting meat over fire. Over time, these influences melded together to create a street food culture that is unrivaled in its diversity and depth. For the locals, street food, or sokak lezzetleri, is not just about convenience. It is a way of life. It is the equalizer that brings together the wealthy businessman and the struggling student, standing side by side at a small cart, sharing the same moment of culinary bliss. It is meaningful because it represents Turkish hospitality and the joy of sharing. To understand Istanbul, you must taste it. So let's begin our journey through the winding streets and vibrant markets of this magical city. Our day begins not with a heavy meal, but with a national icon. Look around you. On almost every street corner, you will see bright red carts with glass windows piled high with golden circular bread rings. This is simit. Often mistakenly called a Turkish bagel, the simit is so much more. Its history dates back to the 1500s. Unlike a bagel which is boiled, the simit is dipped in molasses. Then it's crusted in sesame seeds and baked. The result is a deep, nutty sweetness and a texture that is crisp on the outside but soft and chewy on the inside. Watch a local eat a simit, and you witness a ritual. They tear a piece off, perhaps dipping it into a small serving of cream cheese or pairing it with olives. But a simit is never eaten alone. It is always accompanied by the lifeblood of Turkey: chai. Turkish tea is not just a drink, it is an institution, served in small tulip-shaped glasses to keep it hot and show off its clear, mahogany red color. Tea is the fuel of Istanbul. You will see shopkeepers sitting on low stools outside their stores, holding these tiny glasses. You will see ferries crossing the water, with trays of tea swinging dangerously in the hands of waiters, who never seem to spill a drop. If you were walking these streets right now, would you prefer the quiet solitude of a morning tea by the water, or would you join the lively chatter of a busy tea garden? The tea culture here says, pause, sit, talk. Refusing a cup of tea can sometimes be seen as rude because you're refusing a moment of connection. In a city of 15 million people, this small glass of tea is what keeps the human connection alive. As the morning turns to afternoon, the scent of the city changes. The sweet smell of sesame fades, replaced by the savory, smoky aroma of roasting meat. We cannot talk about Istanbul without bowing our heads to the king of street food, the döner kebab. While the world knows the kebab as a late-night fast food, in Istanbul, it is an art form respected by history. The concept of roasting meat vertically was invented here in the 19th century. The idea was simple but revolutionary. By stacking seasoned lamb or beef vertically and rotating it next to a wood fire, The fat melts and drips down through the layers of meat, basting it naturally, keeping it incredibly juicy and flavorful. Imagine standing in front of a döner master, the usta. He wields a long knife like a sword. With surgical precision, he slices thin shavings of meat that fall onto a fresh pide bread. He adds a few slices of tomato, perhaps some onion and sumac, and hands it to you. No heavy sauces, no mayonnaise to hide the taste, just the pure flavor of high-quality meat and fire. But for the adventurous traveler, Istanbul offers something even more intense. Walk through the bustling markets of Eminönü or Kadıköy, and you will smell oregano and hot peppers hitting a griddle. This is kokoreç. Did you know? Kokoreç is a dish that often divides tourists. It is made from lamb intestines, thoroughly cleaned, wrapped around sweetbreads, and grilled over charcoal until crispy. It is then chopped into tiny pieces and mixed with generous amounts of spices. It might sound intimidating to some, but to the locals, it is the ultimate comfort food, especially after a long night out. The texture is crunchy and soft, spicy and savory. It challenges you to look past your preconceptions and trust the centuries of culinary wisdom that perfected this dish. Istanbul is a city defined by water. The Golden Horn and the Bosphorus Strait are not just scenery. They are the pantry of the city. We now walk toward the Galata Bridge, a structure that spans the Golden Horn. The lower level is filled with restaurants, but the real magic happens on the street level or at the water's edge. Here, the air smells of brine and grilling fish. You see boats rocking violently in the waves, equipped with grills and flashing lights. These are the famous balık ekmek boats. The concept is beautifully simple. A fresh fillet of mackerel, grilled right on the boat, stuffed into half a loaf of white bread with raw onions, lettuce, and a squeeze of lemon. There is no table service. You buy your sandwich, find a spot on a plastic stool, or sit on the concrete steps and eat while watching the ferries cross from Asia to Europe. The bread absorbs the juices of the fish and the lemon. It is rustic, messy, and absolutely delicious. As you finish your sandwich, you notice vendors standing with round trays on wooden folding legs. They are selling midye dolma, stuffed mussels. This is perhaps the most dangerous street food in Istanbul, not because of safety, but because they are addictive. The mussels are stuffed with a spiced rice mixture, allspice, cinnamon, black pepper, and cooked. The vendor opens the shell, squeezes fresh lemon juice over the rice, and hands it to you. You use the top shell as a spoon to scoop it into your mouth. One is never enough. You eat one, then another, and another. The vendor keeps count. It becomes a rhythm, a dance between you and the vendor, until you finally say, "Dur." How many mussels do you think you could eat in one standing? The local record is often in the hundreds. No culinary journey in Turkey is complete without sugar. The Ottoman Empire had a profound sweet tooth, and this legacy lives on in the streets. Walking through the Grand Bazaar, your eyes are dazzled by jeweled colors. Pyramids of Turkish delight in rose, pomegranate, pistachio, and lemon flavors glow under the lights. But on the street, the treats are often more immediate. In the winter months, a distinct voice echoes through the neighborhoods on cold nights. Boza! Boza is a fermented wheat drink, thick like a smoothie, topped with roasted chickpeas and cinnamon. It has a slight tang, a sourness that warms you up. It is a drink that dates back thousands of years to the Central Asian roots of the Turks. Drinking it feels like drinking history itself. Alternatively, there is salep, a hot, creamy drink made from the pulverized tubers of wild orchids. It is sweet, floral, and dusted with cinnamon. It is said that the sultans drank this for strength and vitality. Today, you can grab a cup from a steaming brass samovar on a street corner while watching the snow fall on the domes of the mosques. And let's not forget the dondurma, the famous Turkish ice cream. You have likely seen the videos of the vendors in traditional vests playing tricks on tourists, twisting the ice cream, taking it away, and ringing bells. But beyond the show, the ice cream itself is unique. It contains mastic and salep, which gives it a chewy, elastic texture that doesn't melt quickly in the hot summer sun. Before we conclude our main exploration, we must visit Taksim Square, the modern heart of the city. Here, history meets the fast-paced modern world, and the result is the Islak hamburger, or the wet burger. This is a late-night legend. Small beef patties are placed in soft white buns, which are then soaked in a garlic and tomato sauce and kept in a steam box. The result is a burger that is moist, garlicky, and incredibly soft. You don't even need to chew it. It is the food of the youth, the food of the night owls, proving that Istanbul's food culture is not just stuck in the past, it is constantly evolving to feed the new generations. Travelers from around the world are often shocked by the wet burger. It defies the Western logic of a crispy burger bun. Yet, one bite of this garlicky, steamy creation at 2 a.m. in the middle of a bustling square, and you suddenly understand exactly why it exists. As the sun sets over the 7 hills of Istanbul, casting a purple silhouette of minarets and skyscrapers against the sky, the smoke from the grills thickens, and the city settles into a warm, glowing evening. We have traveled from the crisp sesame of the morning Simit to the smoky richness of the döner, tasted the brine of the sea in the Midye Dolma, and felt the warmth of salep. But what we have truly experienced is the soul of a people. Street food in Istanbul is more than nourishment. It is a language. It tells the story of a city that has always been a crossroads, a meeting place for cultures, religions, and flavors. It is a place where a vendor will treat you like a brother or sister, not just a customer. The food is unpretentious, honest, and deeply rooted in the soil and sea. When you eat on the streets of Istanbul, you are not just an observer. You become part of the city's chaotic, beautiful flow. You realize that despite the noise and the crowds, there is a profound peace to be found in sharing a simple meal under the open sky. Every culture is a mirror of the human soul, and the journey to understand it through its spices, its bread, and its tea may never truly end. Thank you for joining us on this flavorful adventure through the streets of Istanbul. We hope you can almost taste the roasted chestnuts and smell the sea breeze. If you enjoyed today's journey, don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. We would love to know, which of these street foods would you want to try first? Are you Team Savory Döner or Team Sweet Baklava? Subscribe to Culture Journey and hit the notification bell so we can explore more beautiful cultural corners of the world together. Until the next journey, stay curious and keep exploring.